Welcome to Dirt Bike Channel. I'm your host, Kyle Brotherson. Today I'm in Meeker, Colorado, and I've got Andy Leifer with me. Right, Andy?
That's right.
Say hello to you two.
Hey, what's happening, guys?
So, Andy, tell me why we're here. What are we doing?
Well, I'm pretty darn lucky. I guess I'm winning this CRF450RX.
Yeah, you won. So Andy was the grand prize winner for the June sweepstakes. It's August 10th, I believe it is. Yeah. Everyone asks like why it takes so long. There's legal stuff that has to go through, and then Andy had some stuff. I was away for a week, and so this is the first day we could kind of get together.
It worked.
So tell us where you're from. Remind us where you're from.
So I'm from Evergreen, Colorado. Live up at 10,000 feet. I have a 2000 XR400. So wow, is this an awesome replacement?
Yeah, so we're moving 22 years into the future. He's getting the 450. We just spent the last maybe 10 or 15 minutes just kind of walking around the bike, talking about some of the things that are with the bike. Desert tank, a little bit softer suspension, and what I'm talking about is Honda basically took their motocross bike and made a few minor tweaks to it, and they came out with this RX model, which I've really enjoyed riding. Remains to be seen whether or not Andy is going to love this, but I think he is. I think we've got some ideas for him to kind of turn this into the type of machine that he wants. So tell us a little bit about your riding career, a little bit about...
Sure. So I've ridden motorcycles since I was 17, and my mother was mortified. But street bikes mostly early on. Yeah. Yamaha Vision V-twin, which was great.
Wow.
And then I went to Beamers. I've had big Beamers, big street bikes, K1100. I rode all over Europe, 20,000 miles in 3 months. Followed the Tour de France. They thought, because I was on a Beamer, they thought I was part of it.
20,000 miles in 3 months.
Yeah. And I was so hooked on it. You know, they shipped it back from Munich. I was so hooked on it. I flew back to Denver, that it was flown into Dallas, went through customs there, and I couldn't stand it anymore being away from it, and flew there to Dallas, got the bike out of custom, and rode it straight home, 500 miles one day.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it.
But I've had dirt bike experience too, and GS's. I've had a big BMW 1200 GS that I took to Alaska from Colorado here. And
you rode from Colorado to Alaska.
Yeah.
So this is a real motorcycle man right here, man. Like you ride 20,000 miles in Europe, and then you go from Colorado to Alaska. Like, how does that even work? Like, what about weather? Like,
we dealt with it. That was a 2-year process to plan that trip. There was a lot of farkling of the bike and a lot of gear stuff, and dealing with, they don't put mag chloride on the roads. They put calcium chloride, which is hateful for motorcycles.
All the aluminum stuff on motorcycles.
If it gets wet at all, it's like riding in snot. It's the most unbelievably dangerous stuff ever. Huh. So, you go up to Prudhoe Bay, and the semis are passing you going 65, 70, and you're just hanging on going 20, trying not to die.
Oh my gosh.
When it's raining out. But yeah, that trip was good. 500 miles a day for 21 days straight, except for one day where I went halibut fishing.
Oh my gosh. Like, I can't even imagine that. Like, I know how hard it is to go 500 miles in a car, and to do that day after day after day on a motorcycle, that is legit. Holy cow.
Some riding. But yeah, I mean, the dirt bike history is just that XR400, which I got in 2004 from a good friend of mine, Donnie, and he had that bike, for those 4 years, and then wanted to unload it, and I've been super happy with it since. Rode it for, like I told you in the winning interview that you did a couple weeks back. I rode that bike for about 8 years, and then I got way into mountain biking.
Yeah.
Put that bike away and just kind of let it sit. And then, I don't know, four years ago or something, got it back out, and I've been riding it a lot since.
That's great.
But it's tired.
Yeah, well, this is a bike that's going to want to go fast. So we've talked about it a little bit. I put tubeless on the bike. We did a couple things, just some protection pieces on this thing, but it's ready to go. So Andy is getting a very sweet bike. Yeah. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and you'll just kind of get to see the progression of like where the XR has gone to now where the CRF450 is. It's pretty unbelievable. So these things, it's a lot of bike too, and at the first of my riding career, a bike like this nearly killed my desire to ride. So what we want to do is kind of ease into this. We'll probably get you into the soft motor map, and then possibly even a Recluse auto clutch. We talked about that a little bit at length. And I think maybe for what you're wanting to do with it, a Recluse auto clutch would probably be a good idea, and maybe even a radiator fan, just to kind of make it so that it's a little bit more adept at going a little slower. Because this bike, man, they just made this bike to go get out there and rip.
Full on. Right?
Full on, you know. So, but yeah, this is the thing, and the nice thing is you're about my same weight, so it's going to be sprung about right for you. It's possible you end up wanting to have the suspension redone even a little softer. This is in the stock valving, and it's pretty good. But if you get in like really rocky terrain, sometimes the forks can't get out of the way enough if you're going slower. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's meant to go 3rd gear, 4th gear, and then it kind of feels like you're floating on a carpet.
Right.
If you're slower than that, which a lot of times the terrain dictates that, then this bike can feel like it's a little stiff. But anyway, I'm excited for you.
No, I am too. I'm thrilled. Couldn't be more.
Yeah, it's such a good looking bike. I have loved riding. I've got the 250 version of this. It's going across the country. I can't remember right now where it's going.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. That's right. And so, in fact, what's funny is I was at Lake Powell for a week before this, and Andy and I were texting back and forth the last couple of days, and I couldn't even remember which bike he had. I had to like go back and look through the documents because I didn't know, am I taking the 250 or the 450? Like, no, it was the 450. So Andy's got the bike, and how far of a drive was it for you to get here?
Oh, about 4.5 hours.
Okay, and it was about 4.5, almost 5 for me. So yeah. I'm glad, because I've gone to Grand Junction, Colorado so often. He sent like a few different options, and Meeker was one. I'm like, I've never been to Meeker.
Right.
Why don't I do that?
Different way to get here.
Different way to get here.
Don't have to deal with the highway.
Exactly. I'm not going on I-70. I came through Vernal, Utah, and it was a lot of two-lane highways, two-lane roads, so it was fun.
Yeah, but it's still more interesting and good scenery, especially out the range.
Totally. Yeah, well, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Yeah.
And we'll wrap this thing up. If you guys are curious, the next sweepstakes will be happening in September. It'll be a Sherco 250 SE and also a KTM 250 XC. So next time it'll be September 1st to September 30th. I don't know, I'm holding up 3 fingers. 2 2-strokes. So this time I had 2 4-strokes. Next time it's going to be 2 2-strokes. Sherco and a KTM, so it should be fun. So stay tuned for that. And also, if you also want to support these videos, one of the best ways to do that is to use my links to Rocky Mountain ATV. The link will be down in the video description or over on my website at dirtbikechannel.com. You can get all the information there, and that really helps to support what we're doing. Doesn't cost you anything, because Rocky Mountain ATV picks up the fee or picks up the referral bonus, sends it to me. You guys get your parts, your gear, your tools, whatever it is, and it helps to keep Dirt Bike Channel alive. These sweepstakes also help to keep Dirt Bike Channel alive. With the money that we make with each one of these things, it allows the next bike to be purchased, ridden and reviewed at an unbiased, stance. And then Andy Leifer here is one of the beneficiaries of that whole process. We've done, I don't know, 22, 23, 24 bikes. It's hard for me to keep track of now, but it's all because of people like Andy and people like you watching that make this possible. And so I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and until next time, leave a single track.